Hey everybody, I'm making this video on the fly. I have not written a script or rehearsed, so hopefully I won't stutter or pause too many times. This is OnTarget, the TDS version of OnTarget, which is a program to analyze your shot groups. So I'm just going to do an example here and hopefully do it justice in my demonstration. So I'm going to click on the Open Image button here on the top left, and that's going to bring up the most recently accessed folder. And I've already done these targets, but I'm going to bring up one just to use as an example. And let's see, we'll pick this one right here, and I will go through marking these groups. So the first thing I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit, and then I'm going to click on the Set Reference button here on the top left. That will give me a tiny little ruler. Hopefully you'll be able to see it here. It's kind of small and light, but I'm going to measure a known distance by clicking once, dragging it across and to the next point and clicking it. And I know that this is a target with 1 inch grid, so the reference distance is 1 inch. I'm going to punch that in, hit OK. So now the program knows that the distance from here to here across one square is 1 inch. The next thing we're going to do is pick our target distance. This was 100 yards. I think it defaults to that, but you see this drop-down menu on the right. A lot of common distances here, meters and yards and even feet, or you can enter your own custom distance by clicking on the top where it says 0 and then enter your own. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the 100 yards. The hole size is the next field below it. This target was shot with an AR-15 223 ammunition, which actually happens to be .224 inches in diameter. If this was, say, 6.5 Creedmoor, I would pick the .264 caliber size, but I'm going to go back and pick the .224, which is the size of the bullet in the AR-15 ammo. So we've set our distance, our reference distance, on the target, and then we've inputted our target distance and our hole size. So now we are ready to start marking up our group. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit, and we've already got highlighted over here on the right. Group 1 is already started. Next thing we do is click on the Input Bullet Holes button and drop down. I'm going to click once. Notice my cursor changes to a hole, and that hole is sized according to the caliber that we selected on the right. So I'm going to mark this hole here. That's 1. Click to change the cursor again, and then click again to set the next hole. Click, 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 click. That's 5 shots that I've marked. Next thing I'm going to do is click on the Point of Aim button here on the top left. Come down, click once, you'll see a crosshair show up. I'm going to center that over the bullseye or the point of aim, as the case may be. In this case, I aimed dead center at the bullseye, and now I'm going to click that, and that sets the point of aim. And you'll notice that the holes have all been highlighted, and there is a text box here. Now you can actually move this text box. Sometimes it just overlaps your bullet holes or targets. So you click on the upper left corner of that text box and then place the cursor where you want it to appear and click again, and it moves down. And you'll notice that it was overlapping this bottom hole here, so I've moved it down some. So I'm going to move it again by clicking, and then you release the button and then click again, and it moves it where you last clicked. So that's the first group. we're going to move on to the next group. We start a new group. Two different ways we can do it. We can either click on this new button over here on the right, or we can click on the new group button on the top left on the menu here. So I'm going to do that, and you'll notice over here on the right, group 2 appears and is highlighted in the groups box. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll over a little bit actually to group number 2 over here, and I'm going to click the input bullet holes. You'll notice the cursor changes, and I'm going to click once and mark one of my holes. I happen to know, and I actually wrote on the target, that there were 2 bullets that went through this hole here, and so I'm going to just kind of guesstimate where the second bullet impacted by overlapping my holes here. So that's 2 holes. This one here I happen to know was 3 holes, and you can kind of tell that this is more than just one bullet right here. So I'm going to click at one edge of it here, click again at the other edge, and my last and 5th bullet hole right here in the middle. So there are my 5 shots. I'm going to click on the point of aim, click to make the crosshair appear, center it over the bullseye where I was aiming, click, and you'll see the text box with all the data popped up again. So I'm going to drag that down out of the way a little bit. Actually, not drag it. Click it, and then release, and then click again, and then it moves. Now we can scroll down. We'll do one more group on this target. I'm going to click the new group button, then the input bullet holes button. Click, 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 center it up, click, click, and then mark that one, click, and then mark that one, click, and mark that one. Click on our point of aim, click, and click. And now we've got our text box. I'm going to click on that and then reposition it here. All right, so that's 3 out of the 5 groups on this target, but I think you get the idea of how to mark up your groups. You'll notice some of the data appears over here on the right side. You can check different display options that you want to appear. There is also, under the tools, there's options where you can change up your drawing options, for example, the size and color of the bullet mark holes, the bullet holes, and also these boundaries, these other little squares and circles that indicate the center of the group versus the center of aim. Anyways, you can set the color, for example, of those, and you can also set the width of those. Down here you'll see group text options. You can make the group text movable, which I have checked. That's what I was moving, so you can move these to where you want them. I have it customized with the group number, the distance, the maximum spread, the mean radius, which is the average distance of the holes from the center of the group. The offset, horizontal and vertical, that tells you how far the center of the group is from the point of aim. And then you can check this box if you want to put some notes with your text box. So for example, let's see if I can do that. I'm going to hit cancel here. I think I can hit notes and type in blah blah here. And let's see if that, let's see, click notes. There it is. I had to click this here. I'm still learning this a little bit as well. And down here you see where it says blah blah. There's another blah blah up here. I think that is from the other section there. Anyways, let's see. Oh, next is we want to save this. So let's say we want to save this. I'm going to zoom back out. And you'll notice that the text boxes get bigger. I have found that the ideal size image to use in this program is about 800 pixels wide, or 800 pixels high. So I find that that just fits best, and the text boxes appear more proportional and more visible when you look at the JPEG image that you've saved later. I found that if I zoom out to where it just fills this screen top to bottom, that gives me the best representation of what it's going to look like when it's saved as a JPEG. When you zoom it out like this, you may find that these text boxes are now obscuring something. So let's say I want to move group 1's text box. I go over here, I click on group 1, and then I click on the text box. You see the little T show up there, and I'm just going to move it a little bit to the left here and click there. If I want to move group 2 text box, I click here, click on the box, move it over here, and so on and so forth. If you want to now save this image as a JPEG so you can post it on Facebook or your favorite gun forum and show off your amazing groups, click on File and Save Project as Graphic. Click that. This pops up where, whichever folder you'll find where you want to save it, and you can give it a name. I'm going to call it Target Example. All right, we'll just call it that and save it. Now, if you want to save this project so that you can later modify any of this stuff if you want, then you hit File, Save As, and then it saves it as a Target Graphics file. And so it's kind of like when you save a Photoshop project. You can still go back and edit it if you want to. So you can save that. There are a lot of other more advanced features in this program. I'm not going to get into that, but I just thought I would show you guys some of the basics. I hope that helps.